Jours Barbares dans l'écriture, c'est le fait, comme vous le disiez, que vous vous adressez à des non-surfeurs. Comment vous avez réussi à gérer ce problème, rendre le livre intelligible à des gens qui ne sont pas dans cette culture spécifique?
Well, there was this problem of the kind of technical language of surfing, of describing the ocean with great specificity and waves in great detail. Surfers do that, and they have their technical language is one way to put it. It's really a kind of tribal language that everybody who surfs understands, and anybody who doesn't surf does not understand. And so I had to sort of, in this book, slowly introduce all these terms and define them as I introduced them. The French edition, I noticed, has a glossary in the back. I think that's partly because the translator just kept some English phrases that he, for surfing maneuvers or ocean terms that didn't translate, left in English. So there's a glossary. But the English version does not have a glossary. So to help me with this, I would ask my wife, who has no interest in surfing and no knowledge, to read passages, and another an editor who also knows nothing of surfing, and to mark anything that was confusing. So I'd go back, and sometimes it was really frustrating. I mean, my wife would say, "Channel, what's a channel? I don't know what a channel is." And I'd say, "A channel? That's not even a surfing term. Like a shipping channel, come on." And she said, "No, I don't know what it is." So a channel, deep water where no waves break, okay. But anyway, in the early chapters, try and, without being too boring, define each term and slowly build up a vocabulary with the reader. I mean, they only get defined once. Until maybe by the middle of the book, when there's a surfing scene, I can just sort of tell it in a language that's natural to me, and it really describes it to me without any explanations. And I think there's some pleasure in that. The reader who picks up enough and now is able to read a fine sort of semi-technical description of a wave and gets it, understands what's at stake and what's happening. There's some pleasure in that. So that problem was distinct, and I worked on for a long time. And then just more broadly, I think that, like a lot of reporting I've done, where I go to spend time with people that my readers will never meet. I was recently in the Peruvian Andes writing about gold miners, very high in the Andes, illegal gold mining. My readers aren't going to meet these people, and to bring their world back and describe the gods they worship and the way they live is interesting. With surfers too, I can do some of that kind of anthropology, amateur anthropology, because I know this world well, and I can say, you have an idea of surfers or surfing, you see guys out in the ocean perhaps, but you don't understand what you're seeing. Let me tell you what they're actually doing out there, what they're actually thinking, how they speak, but really what they're engaged in, the kind of the full project. It's not playing around in the ocean. It's a big project of trying to understand what the ocean is doing and what it's going to do next. And so there's that also that I hope I can open up for people. It's a lot, sorry.
Il y avait effectivement un problème quand j'ai écrit ce livre pour que ça soit abordable pour le lecteur ordinaire, c'est qu'il y a un langage technique dans le surf. Il fallait que je puisse décrire l'océan, les vagues en détail. Et les surfeurs ont leur propre langue technique, c'est presque une langue tribale que les surfeurs comprennent mais que les autres ne comprennent pas du tout. Et dans le livre, j'ai essayé d'inclure des termes au fur et à mesure et les expliquer. J'ai constaté que dans la version française, il y a un glossaire à la fin qui explique beaucoup de cette terminologie, mais ça n'existe pas dans la version anglaise. Donc j'ai expliqué une fois, et par la suite, il fallait que le lecteur comprenne. J'ai demandé à ma femme, qui n'aime pas du tout le surf, et mon éditeur aussi, de lire des passages assez techniques. Et elle est marquée quand elle ne les comprenait pas. Et pour moi, c'était extrêmement frustrant parce qu'elle comprenait pas les choses vraiment basiques, comme qu'est-ce que c'est un canal, c'est l'eau profonde où les vagues ne se cassent pas. Donc, j'ai commencé par définir les termes. On a construit un vocabulaire ensemble avec le lecteur. Et au milieu de ce livre, j'ai commencé à m'exprimer de manière plus naturelle dans ce langage, sans explication. Et je pense que pour les lecteurs, il y a un certain plaisir aussi à pouvoir lire ces descriptions semi-techniques d'une vague. Et au milieu du livre, ils arrivent à comprendre. Plus largement, j'ai l'habitude d'écrire plutôt dans un style d'article. Et dans mes articles, je parle de personnes que les lecteurs n'ont jamais rencontrées. Récemment, je suis allée au Pérou, dans les Andes, pour visiter les mines d'or et les personnes qui y travaillent. Et dans mon article, j'ai décrit les dieux qu'ils respectent, leur manière de vivre. Et j'ai essayé de faire la même chose avec les surfeurs. J'ai fait un peu d'anthropologie d'amateur. J'ai essayé d'expliquer au lecteur, vous voyez un surfeur dans l'océan, mais vous ne comprenez pas exactement ce qu'il fait. J'ai essayé d'expliquer ce qu'il fait, comment il parle et son projet global. Ils ne sont pas là en train de jouer dans les vagues, ils sont là à surfer les vagues, à comprendre l'océan dans l'instant et essayer également de comprendre comment l'océan va évoluer. Et je voulais expliquer tout cela à mes lecteurs.
Vous servez aussi beaucoup de votre premier chapitre comme exposition, puisque d'une manière narrative très classique, on va dire le personnage, le héros, arrive à Hawaï où il est nouveau, il ne connaît pas les termes, il doit découvrir beaucoup de choses, donc le lecteur découvre toutes les bases du surf avec lui.
Yes, I'm glad you said that. I was looking for a conventional opening, and I found one. I really found that by the first chapter of the book takes place in the 60s when my family moved to Hawaii from California. My father got a job in Hawaii, and I was already surfing, but it was a strange new world for me, my school especially, but also the surf. And for a long time I didn't know how to start this book. And then one day I got a box in the mail full of letters, just surprisingly, I didn't expect it. And from an old friend, my best friend when I was a kid. And it turned out I had written letters like every night to him when we moved. He was back in California, and I was telling him all about Hawaii, to surf every day, and the girls and the school, and all my little adventures. And it was just dozens and dozens of letters when I was 13 and 14, and hundreds of pages. I didn't even remember writing them, but here they were. And the writing was absolutely terrible. But the detail was so rich and just brought it all back. I remembered everything about that time that I'd forgotten. And I thought, this is really where this thing should start. For reasons you mentioned, I can introduce the reader. You'll be in this difficult situation. A lot of the school was quite tough, and the environment was very, very racialized. A lot of these old racial gangs, and everybody's beating up on the new kid. And so there's that, but also my escape was the surf, which was exciting, and the people were much nicer, and it just was obviously, here's where to start this story. But I spent years scratching my head until this box came and told me where to start.
Je suis très content que vous me posiez cette question parce que je voulais commencer ce livre de manière traditionnelle. Dans le premier chapitre, on commence dans les années 60 à Hawaï. Mon père avait un boulot là-bas, donc on a déménagé